Sorry for the weird cut. So it's interesting to go into that and be like, see it kind of all come together. But it kind of makes you think, you know, Ellie and Abby, they're both capable people, and you realize that once you start playing Abby. But what I don't like about playing as Abby is the game seems a tad biased towards Abby, and I don't like it. You know, obviously she gets better weapons. Her skill trees are a tad bit better, I think. And well, they're also really similar too. But it's just how fast she progresses. But if you think about it, you know, they're both really good at what they do, and reality is they're both one and the same. And the way this game kind of pits you against yourself. You're like the main character versus the main character, and I think that's why Abby does what she does in the game and so quickly. Like when Jesse died, you know, he come through the door and just boom. You know, she killed him as if Abby was the main character the whole game and you were just chasing Ellie. You know? And that's why Abby is so good, because you are Abby. You're also Ellie. You have to play as both, and you have to do good as both to progress through the game, and it pits you against yourself. And it's interesting to see that. It's like if you were playing a game, a story mode, where say you played as Ellie the entire game, but then your best friend was playing as Abby as the entire game, and you're both in it together, and you're both fighting each other. You're gonna die a few times. You know, you're gonna kill them a few times. It's just how it goes. But I think that's why, you know, in the end, maybe they just couldn't kill each other because they're both the same, very similar people. Different sides of the same coin. I thought that was an interesting perspective on it, because it makes a lot of sense. But I don't understand. You know, in my eyes, and you know, I was thinking at the end of this game, I was like, somebody's got to die. It's either got to be Ellie or it's got to be Abby. But they went a completely different way with it, and because they didn't do that, that makes more sense now. That, well, you can't kill Abby because technically you are Abby. Can't kill Ellie because you're Ellie. In the old churchyard. You know, they're both good in the ways that they are. They're also both got their weaknesses. And one major difference between the two, though, if you think about it, is, you know, Abby's good at what she does because of training. To see my Savior. Ellie's good at what she does because of experience. You know, Ellie has more experience in doing that stuff because, hell, by the time they got to the Firefly Hospital, Abby was, you know, obviously her dad was teaching her stuff, but Abby had not been through what Ellie had been through already. You know, Ellie had been across the country fighting stuff, fighting people. So, you know, she knew about that. She was about that life. But it's interesting how they do that. They sort of pit you against yourself. You know, you have to play as Abby, and you don't want to play as Abby, but you have to do good as Abby if you want to progress through the game. So obviously, you're a main character. You're gonna be boss at the game, just like you're boss at the game with Ellie. So I think that's why they didn't kill each other in the end, and also because, you know, would Ellie be able to handle that mentally? Because, you know, she suffers from PTSD as well. I'm just not I'm just not a huge fan of how the story's told between them. You know, I don't like how quick they killed Jesse, although it makes sense in a way how they would do that, because you're Abby and you're the player playing as her. So obviously she's going to be just destroying people. But I don't understand, and I'm not a big fan of how Abby came to be in the game in general. Like her dad, you know, she hunted the dude down from her dad dying. To me, it would have made more sense if it had been like Marlene's daughter or son was hunting down Joel. To me, that would have made more sense. You know. But you know, Joel kills her dad. He saves Ellie. You know, Ellie's mad at Joel about that. I mean, this whole game is just a giant roller coaster from beginning to end. And in the end, I don't know how I feel about it. I don't love the game, but I don't hate the game. And if I'm being real honest, I'll probably never play it again unless they come out with like a multiplayer or something. But it's not something I could see myself playing through the story again, because it's just sad. It really is. Once you get to where you're going after Lev, you know, you're running with Lev, and then Yara, you know, when Yara gets killed, it's just like the game is just sad afterwards. You know, and it's not, it becomes to the point where it's like it's not really even fun to play anymore because it's just sad. You're just more or less, you're just moving on to the next area, trying to complete the next, you know, goal. And you know, Abby comes back and she finds Owen and Mel and they're dead. And then, you know, that last bit of the game was something. I don't know quite how I feel about it. There's just a lot. I feel like it could have been done better. But this is how, and it makes sense in a way, because this is how I imagine it happening if a story was told with the antagonist being just as good as the protagonist, I think is what you call it, protagonist, main character. So this is how I would imagine a story going. Man, that's rough, and especially with Dina. You know, when Ellie comes back to the house, that hit in a weird way. It's incredibly sad because you know she hasn't been there in a long time. You know, who knows what happened to Dina? You know, maybe she went back to Jackson, maybe she didn't. You know, how's Tommy? Which I'm glad they didn't kill Tommy. I'm glad. But that part at the end when she was trying to play the guitar, that was... Man, that was sad. That was really sad. But that's about all I've got to say about that, I think. I would give this game a solid 6.5 out of 10, because it is a good game. Graphics are great, combat's great. The story, although could have been done better in certain parts, I think was okay. Like I said, it just really opens light to what if the antagonist was just as good as the protagonist. I'm probably saying that wrong. It's probably not even protagonist, but anyway. I would give it a solid 6.5, 7 out of 10. And that's about where I would stand on that. So, if you, next up will probably be Ghost of Tsushima. I'm excited for that. That'll probably, I'll explain more on that on the first video of that. But if you come across the video and you like the video, hit the like button. If you dislike it, hit the dislike button. And you know, if you have any ideas of how you feel about the game, put them in the comments. But until then, if you feel like I've earned that subscription, stick around. And we'll catch you in the next one, because we'll be here. Peace out.